So Harvard Harris has come out with a poll, and it shows that something like 80% of Americans favor merit-based immigration over family-based immigration, right? So they would rather people come into their country who they can they know for a fact will bring wealth, who have a good education, who have some place to live, and who will bring money into the country, as opposed to people who are just, some guy's granddaughter, somebody's niece, their husband or wife, right? Now, the majority of people still think that there should be some family-based immigration, as do I. But these polls clearly show that most people clearly favor merit based over that. And currently in America, 2/3 of the people coming into America are coming in through chain migration, are not coming in through the merit based system, right? And this poll also shows that a lot of people want to reduce immigration drastically, because every year there's something like 1.3 million people coming into America, and it found that the majority of people want to reduce it to something like at least 500,000, right? So this is a good thing. And there's already like NPR and whatnot trying to cast doubt on these numbers and be like, oh, the way they phrase the question, and you can get these numbers any way you want, to look any way you want by the way you phrase it, which is true to an extent, right? Like polls and that they always phrase questions a certain way to get the response they want. But this is done by Harvard Harris. This is not like a right wing think tank, right? So they're just trying to cast doubt on these numbers. They're showing their own from CNN, Politico, whatnot. But even these, which are probably heavily altered, or the questions are asked in a really weird way as well, even these show the majority support limiting immigration and having more of a merit-based system, right? So even in their polls, it shows that the majority want to fix this thing. So most people do agree with Trump on the way that immigration has been going in America, and the same is going on in Canada. It's out of fucking whack right now. And you do polling in Canada, and the majority of us also want to reduce it, also want it to stop. But if you listen to our leaders, they tell us, no, 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 we all want more. This is the way Canadians think. This is the way we are. Like it's all bullshit. So they're gonna try to make it seem like these numbers are bullshit, and they're gonna release their own polls and put them in only like Mexican illegal alien areas and get their opinions or something. But other than that, clearly we see that people want this problem solved, and this should bring people in the alt-right and whatnot more hope, because now it just shows you that you can actually work with these people, right? One of the main thing that you guys want is to reduce immigration. So this right here goes to show you that you can work with a lot of people who are not white and who also want the same things, right? Like a lot of people who left these countries, who have immigrated these countries legally, they don't want huge swaths of people from their country coming in here either and taking some of the wealth, right? They understand that adding more to supply is going to increase the cost of certain things. Like look at housing, right? One of the reasons why it costs so much is because there's too much demand and not enough houses. So how is bringing in millions and more people every year, and you don't have enough houses to fill them or to accommodate these people, how are you ever going to expect prices to go down? Right? They won't. The market can't keep up, so they're trying to build away. And then what happens is the government comes in, they're like, okay, well, we got to build housing. And they build a bunch of fucking housing. And if anybody who's grown up in government housing, as I have, there's shit. There's drug addicts everywhere. There's not good places necessarily to raise your kids. So this just creates more problems down the road. So lots of immigrants understand these issues, and the left will make it seem like every immigrant you meet, everybody on the left wants open borders, wants, and then people on the right, they think that, and then they don't want to work with people of color because they're like, oh, well, they want to just import all their family and all this over. Where if you look at these polls, you see that the majority of people do not want that. So we can work together and set up a merit-based thing, because people in the alt-right, like, you're not going to get only white people like that. That's not going to fly. Like, that's never going to happen, at least not in the foreseeable future. But what you can get is merit-based immigration, and a complete reduction, or a huge reduction, which these polls show the majority of people want. So try working with these people instead of making fun of them, and being kind of racist. Like, I know some people being ironically racist and stuff, but this is what drives the wedge between people. And there are plenty of black people, plenty of people of color who do want to restrict these borders, do want stricter immigration, do want less welfare state, do want all of these things. But, if you go on Gab and you look at some of the shit, they're not going to want to align with you after they see that shit. And you're kind of filling the left's narrative, or fulfilling the left's narrative that, we're all racist and shit. So this just drives away support, and then they support the Dems, who will open the borders more and who will increase the demographic shift. So, we need to work together with people who have common sense. It doesn't matter what race, religion they are, as long as they have common fucking sense. We don't want to be working with a bunch of stupid white people and stuff. You don't want, so it doesn't matter what race the person is. There are plenty of people. We're all human. We all want essentially the same things. We want to be able to own things. We want our family to be safe. We want the right to pursue the things we want in life without being attacked and persecuted, right? And a lot of people who come to America, who come to Canada, who are immigrants, understand that they can only have that life here. So they want to preserve it. And they understand that to preserve it will be to reduce the immigration that's coming in right now, make it more merit-based, right? Because they don't want a bunch of dumb people coming in here either, right? They're not stupid. So, enough of focusing on only letting in white people, and that you're just pigeonholing yourself, and you're driving support away that you would have normally had, you would normally have had. Look at these numbers don't lie, and yes, they could be altered slightly with the questions, but even in the highly skewed polls that CNN Politico were doing, there was still a majority support to restrict these things. So, and they were, NPR's bringing out the DACA polls and saying, oh, the majority of people support DACA. Yeah, it's because you're the way they phrase these questions are oh, do you really want this poor kid to go across the desert and starve to death in Mexico, or do you want to keep him here? Right? The way they phrase these ones too is really deceptive as well, and they don't really mention that within the article. But yeah, guys, let's stop focusing so much on race and focus on things that we can actually change and we can actually have an impact on, things that are feasible. And immigration is one of these things that everybody can agree on. And it doesn't matter what race or religion you are. There's huge majorities of people in each community who want to fix this problem. So don't listen to the propaganda from the left telling you that anybody who is against or is for reducing immigration is a racist, this and that, because they're just trying to get you to fall in line. And that's not going to work anymore, right? We have alternative media. We don't need to listen to these people. Racism, term racist and all this shit is losing its meaning more and more every day. And it's having less and less of an impact on the dialogue, because we no longer have to rely on these people to get our message out, right? So But that's all I pretty much had to say. If you like my content, subscribe and have a good day. See ya.